Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I apologize for being late. I had to finish stuffing my face. What's going on, Dan? What's going on, big man? So let's see now. We have a whole bunch of news that happened over the past week that is probably surprising to many, or a lot of people are forgetting what happened in the previous week, right? So the key themes would be Ethereum and Bitcoin spot ETF developments, institutional and company Bitcoin acquisitions, security breaches and legal challenges, regulatory updates and political involvement, technological advancements and platform upgrades, as well as market trends and influencer impact. That's a lot. In case you didn't know, that is a lot. So, if we were to break it all down, looking at the past, what do I think has affected, or what do I think is going to affect this coming week? Let's start with, the elephant in the room, right? Everybody thought that the Bitcoin 2024 conference would give more than it did. I was kind of like 50-50. It could do something or it could not. And now that I'm able to look back at it, there was a lot of rah-rah going into it. But they already leaked so much about what the speeches were going to be and everything else that there was basically no impact. Something else that I believe that impacted those speeches at that conference was the level of being out of touch with crypto reality. And I had to write an article about it. I published it on the site for all to see. Basically, it was, the whole idea of crypto is to not be, controlled by any state, meaning any country, any government. And one of the speakers was like, "Oh, we're gonna make this, we're gonna make the United States a Bitcoin superpower." Dude, that's not what it's all about. That should have made everybody in that audience choke. That's what it should have done. It should have made everybody in that audience choke. Because that right there was just sensationalism. Preceding that speaker, there was another, candidate for U.S. office for United States presidency, that was talking about how he wants to use a mixture of silver, gold, platinum, Bitcoin, and other assets as, to back the dollar, meaning instead of just going back to gold, go back to this bucket of assets and do it 1% over the following years, right? Over the coming years. So 1% this year, 2% next year, so on and so forth. 100 years of implementation. That's a lot. Is it a reality? I think it was a sensational statement to make, to grab attention, to grab headlines. And when you look at it from a realistic perspective, that's not something that's actually going to happen like that, right? Becoming a global powerhouse, what does that even mean? Does that mean you want all the miners in the United States? Nobody in the crypto space is actually going to want that, right? It's the same as saying that there are a lot of, crypto miners in China. And so there would be a race to stop China from having that 51%, right? So there would be the same thing. If any other country, including the United States, tried to do the same thing, we would have to have a conversation about, that's not what we're looking for. That's not what we want. So that news from the conference, when you break down each one of the points, not really a strong reality to it. There was one point that I sat back and I said, something that's a good idea, or could be a good idea, is that you are going to have countries that are going to try to buy it up. No doubt. That's a fact, right? And that was the point, is that, so let's suppose the United States just starts buying. Right now, the United States has about 210,000 Bitcoin. That's less than BlackRock, less than MicroStrategy, but I think it's the most that any country in the world holds. you would need 4 million or 4 million or 9.4 million Bitcoin? Is around 9 million Bitcoin to equal the amount of value that we hold in gold, in physical gold. How is that going to happen? Now, that's not to say that the value of Bitcoin won't surpass gold beyond then. But at current prices, that's what it would have to be. About 9 million Bitcoin. So, how do you make that work? You don't. I don't see that as a thing anytime soon. It would be, you would get there by the value of Bitcoin, right? I don't want any one country to be a powerhouse in Bitcoin. I'd like there to be a country that has, that has taken a more pragmatic approach to rules and regulations about Bitcoin. Yes. I would like some normalcy brought to it. Yes. But powerhouse, what does that mean? How do you break that down? Let's describe what that means. That means nothing. So one candidate actually said, I have a plan. I might disagree with that plan, but they had a realistic plan. One that they could actually say, this is how we could go about doing it. Got down to that point. Well, this is how we could do it. The other one, no plan, just a bunch of sensational statements. And those statements, I heard I heard people applause, because I listened to it afterward, because I wasn't actually there, but I listened to the speech afterward, and I'm like, everybody's applauding, and I'm like, do you understand what you're applauding to, or were you just hyped in the moment? Because if you actually understand what you're applauding to, you wouldn't be applauding. Nobody wants centralization. Nobody wants that, right? And so talking about all this rah-rah, that points towards centralization. And I'm like, no, that's not it. That's not it. Something else that I agreed to was, well, yeah, I mean, anybody can point to Gary Gensler's not going to have a job at the SEC come next year. Like, that's, at some point, that's a reality check. That's like, yeah, no, he's going to get canned. He's going to get canned. Okay, we get that. But everything else, sensationalism. Sensationalism. I didn't hear anything that was realistic. I promised to do something. What is it? Do you keep your promises? The other one, I want it to back the dollar. So you want to go back to being tied to gold, right? But you want to add into that mix gold, silver, blah, 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 right? Cool. I understand going back. I can understand that idea. I may or may not agree to that, but it is a realistic plan of action, not just a bunch of statements. So what I got out of that Bitcoin conference was not enough news from all of those companies that paid to be there, which is unfortunate. So now we got to go digging around for news. And a lot of rah-rah, but not a lot of substance. So the number that I thought, or the numbers that I thought we could hit, we didn't even come close to. Yes, we hit 69. I think it went as high as 69.4. Bitcoin did. I don't know if anything from that conference is going to do anything. It was a lot of elites doing a lot of talking. I don't see a lot of substance coming from it. What I believe is going to happen now is the rah-rah from that conference will die down, and now you're going to see, you'll start to hear real news from real companies that are really building, really creating solutions, have real use cases, and you'll hear their news start to come out. And I think that's what will start to drive things. Because that conference, just go look at it now. It actually had a negative impact. Building up to the conference, building up to those speeches, things went up to, like I said, 69.4. After those speeches, down to 67. Because nothing was amazing at that point. Everything that you said in the speech, you front ran, everybody knew it already. So this week, what are we really looking for? or what am I looking for that we could have gotten some ideas from last week? I'm looking for more buy-in for, Ethereum spot ETFs. I'm looking for additional growth from Bitcoin spot ETFs, not necessarily from retail, but from other financial institutions that want to have exposure, that are saying, okay, now I have a choice. I'm going to choose both, and I'll dip into both. Right? That's what I'm seeing. They'll probably dip into, Bitcoin spot ETFs more, but I can see those financial institutions saying, we need some exposure from a managed service, which are these specific ETFs. We'll get into those. So I'm expecting more of those kinds of announcements. I'm expecting more of that. I'm expecting more companies to actually say, yeah, we're going to put some Bitcoin in our cash reserve. Again, following, MicroStrategy, following, MetaPlanet, even Galaxy Digital. Galaxy Digital does so much that you don't realize that Galaxy Digital is, a big Bitcoin holder. They're making big moves in big ways. So when I look forward, I'm looking forward to more large companies doing that. I'm looking forward to more, ETFs and institutions buying into these specific ETFs. Because I think that's what's going to be interesting, and I think that's what's going to drive things forward. All the rah-rah about, there was, Senator Loomis, announcing a bill that she's putting forward. It's the second time. First one didn't work. Second one, I don't think it's going to work either. Because it's a rush. It's a rush to get the word out, as opposed to, no, how about we actually sit down with industry leaders and, government agencies to see how we can better position crypto within the country. Because it's not going to go away. It's not one of those things that Senator Elizabeth Warren is going to be able to get rid of. It's not going to work like that. I'll invite her to a class. She can go learn about crypto, and then she can take many a seat. You're not going to be able to squash it. You're not going to be able to. But you can create better environments with better regulations around them, right? To protect, investors. Oh my gosh, Captain Banana, thank you so much. And welcome. Welcome. I should have known you were listening. I should have known. Oh, and I totally forgot to actually mention today's poll. What was the first cryptocurrency? Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, Cardano, or eCash? And no, today I'm not going to give any answers. So far we have 6 votes. I'm not going to give any answers, but that's today's question. I wonder if Bianca's going to hop on, because she probably have a lot to say about it, and I'm just going to laugh. So, when I look at everything that's going on, I'm looking for greater institutional involvement. Far greater institutional involvement. I'm also looking for more deals within, that technological integration space. Meaning not just buying into Bitcoin to hold Bitcoin, but the integration of blockchain technology within normal business operations. I'm expecting that from institutional investors as well, or from financial institutions as well. Because Franklin Templeton, Jenny Johnson already said, hey, look, listen, we're already looking at this for tokenization and for settlements, and we are expecting to save big money on the settlement stream. And open the door, basically open the floodgates in terms of tokenization. And there were 2 cryptos there that they were talking about. For her, for Franklin Templeton, it's going to be Stellar and Polygon. Those are big. I know what it is. I know what the audio feedback is. Thank you for that. So, Studio went and, let me take care of that one. Does it sound better now? Andy? Sorry about that, but I know exactly what it was. That's why we're able to take care of it. Let me take care. Is it this one too? Let's bring this down just to make sure. Bring all of those down just to make sure. because it's trying to record on all of them. Perfect. Thank you, Crypto Stick. Whoa, Crypto Stick in his house. So yeah, I mean, when I look at everything that's going on, those are the things that I'm seeing right now, right? I mean, Galaxy Digital, I'll just go over some of the news right here, just with regard to Ethereum and Bitcoin spot ETF specifically. They launched Ethereum launched with mixed market reactions. True, but it was the same way that it started before. Another point, Grayscale is dumping, just like they did with Bitcoin. Same thing, pain in the butt. Audio had an echo, but the echo should be gone now, right? Captain Banano, you might be behind, but it's okay. Let me know if you're still hearing echo. It should be gone now. You know what, Crypto Stick? Thank you. I can appreciate that. I can definitely appreciate it. But it's nice that for my regulars that are here, drop a little note. I love saying hello to you guys. I don't want you guys sitting out there, just listening. Maybe you're busy doing something else. Just tap a little something so I can say hello. Especially my members, because my members are who I really talk about. That really is. That's a part of the package. I'm supposed to say hello to you. So I like doing that. People that are supporting me right now, that are subscribers, that are members, that are, dropping supers, that are putting wind in my sails as much as they can. This keeps me going. It really does keep me going. Right? So just drop a little note. There are the ones that I know that are probably listening, but I don't want to assume that they're listening. I don't want to call them out and they weren't here today or something like that, because then I look like the idiot. What else went on? You had BlackRock's head of digital assets say, yeah, I don't think there are going to be other not viable, but other ones that we're chasing right now, which means Solana's not in his head. Solana is not on his landscapes, not on his radar right now. Just saying. Just not. So when I look at everything that's going on, I'm kind of like, ooh, that was big. That was a big nut to drop right there. Right? A really big nut to drop right there. I got to say thank you so much to that, and I'm putting it in writing. There you go. So that was a big statement to make, that BlackRock really doesn't have anything else on its radar. Bitcoin and Ethereum right there. So what they're saying is, it's not that they won't do something in the future. It's not on their radar right now. So what they're saying is, we're going to focus on these two. We're going to see how these two go. And maybe down the road, we'll think about something. You also have to recall that BlackRock is also taking their other, a few of their other funds and buying into their spot Ethereum and spot Bitcoin ETFs, so they can have exposure to crypto. So they're doing what other financial institutions are starting to do. There you go. So that's a big deal. The man who loves, hold it, because I can't read the whole thing. Listening while researching main decks on SUI. Got you. As long as you're doing your own research, bro, I'm good. I want you doing your own research. Something else that happened. Galaxy Digital raised, 113 million for a fund for Bitcoin acquisitions. And I'm just like, or Bitcoin projects. And I'm just like, whoa. And they're targeting early stage startups. They're basically saying, we have ideas. Other people have ideas. We're going to find those ideas. We're going to invest in those ideas. What they're saying is, the crypto world is coming and we're buying in early. That's what they're saying. That's not a little bit big. That's a lot of bit big. Then you had Michigan buy in. You had Jersey City buy in to Bitcoin spot ETFs. That's not small either. That's not small. I told you before, you have a lot of municipalities that are looking into, pension funds mostly, looking into buying into Bitcoin spot ETFs and now Ethereum spot ETFs. They want the crypto exposure. Ooh, yeah. Think about that. Now you know why I take a look at what happened in the past and I start looking in the future. How is what's going on in this past week going to affect me in the immediate future? Not small stuff. Coinbase is now serving for the custodian for a lot of the Bitcoin ETFs, basically all of them, and the same thing for the Ethereum ETFs. Check that out. Check that out. Semler Scientific, Semler Scientific is looking to get into the Bitcoin space. That's not small. They're looking to create these funds. Real Bedford Football Club bought $9 million plus worth of Bitcoin. And why is that? For financial stability and for future marketing. So this is what I mean by you're gaining this level of adoption of Bitcoin and other coins out there. These are not small things when you look forward. But on the security side, well, Wazir X got hit for 235 mil. Monoswap got hit. I don't know the number on that one yet. GameStop short seller Andrew Left is facing SEC and DOJ charges, fraud, Citron Capital, and Coinbase's UK arm was fined $4.5 million for onboarding high-risk customers. What's that say about high-risk customers? Right? Know your customer, KYC, and anti-money laundering, AML. Those are not small things. Somebody over there in, CB, what is it? CB something, basically Coinbase's UK arm, they dropped the ball from a regulatory perspective. They dropped the ball. They dropped it big. That's a major problem. No, you're not going to see Stitch. He just went for a walk. What else is there? Elizabeth Warren and Senator Roger Marshall have put forward a Bitcoin bill together. He's now taken his name off the bill. That basically leaves Senator Warren looking like an idiot or standing alone. And it also makes it so that there was a clear message sent, right? A clear message sent that no Republican should say anything negative about cryptos. So putting forward a bill wasn't a smart move by Roger Marshall. That was big. Kamala Harris didn't speak at the conference, and I have to tell you, nobody missed it. Nobody missed it. It was all the hoopla running up to what we thought were going to be the speeches, and then when the speeches hit, nothing. OKX announced the delisting of several cryptocurrency pairs, XRP affecting XRP and SHIB as a part of those pairs. Has a lot of people scratching their heads. Gate.io pulled out of the Japanese market due to regulatory concerns. Again, countries that are not taking a good step toward realistic regulations are going to start feeling the pain. They're going to lose competition. Let me go back to Monoswap. The reason why I was telling you about Monoswap is because Monoswap is just another DEX, right? Wazir is another SEX. I guess somebody's doing some construction that we should be paying attention to, right? Sorry for the long pause, but I was hearing something outside that I wanted to make sure it wasn't on my property. So I'm looking at these things and I'm saying to you guys, be wary or be knowledgeable of who you do business with. It's one of the reasons why I do not keep a lot of funds on centralized exchanges or decentralized exchanges. I handle my business, then I take it back to my non-custodial wallets. The only time I leave money on there is when I know I'm going to be doing another transaction fairly shortly, and I think that money is okay for that time period. Other than that, I handle my transaction, and my transaction begins in a non-custodial spot and moves back to a non-custodial spot. So just saying. Echo gone. Thank you very much. Thank you, Captain Banana. So yeah, the software that I'm using, Livestream Studio, got hosed. What I have to do is I have to save the project, and I had set up the project all perfectly and everything. If you notice, I don't have a my logo on here or anything. I normally do, but I'm like, yeah, I have the t-shirt on though today. So I have to fix that and then save the project, so when I open it back up, everything's there the way it's supposed to be. So I'll save the project when I'm done. And that way, if it happens again, I'll just be able to open up the project and boom, everything's off to the races. Everything's great. In terms of technological advances, Proton AG, highly focused on privacy, opened up Proton Wallet. Jupiter launched a new API for its Solana-based DEX, because they're a DEX aggregator, making it easier for token access. That's a big deal. So you're probably going to see a lot of projects start to hop on that. Uniswap announced an upgrade for Uniswap X. Cardano has entered the Voltaire era, and I'm telling you, that's going to be huge. Might not be huge right now, but it's going to start that huge freaking upswing. That's really what I think is going to happen. In terms of meme coins, well, meme coins did lead the market upturn. Yeah. However, there's a study out that says that the bulk, out of all of the celebrity meme coins, they've all dropped, about 94%. Or what is it? 94% of them tank within the first 30 days. Tank. I'm not in here to play games. I'm not in here to call a high, call a low. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to invest over the long term. Like I say, I'm investing for my last name, not my first name, right? I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids, my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandkids. So I could care less about me. My investment is for that long term, that long haul. Buy something now that, will be unable to have later on, right? Like buy property. I knew somebody that used to own property on 42nd Street in New York City, and they sold too soon. The family had that property since the early 1900s, and they sold too soon. Like when 40 Duke became 40 Duke, that's what us New Yorkers call it. Sorry, I'm old school. When 40 Duke became 40 Duke, they had that property. Held it for a little while, wound up selling it. Had they known what was going to happen in New York as a whole, how much of a big centralized city that we were going to become, they wouldn't have sold. They'd be sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars right now. Literally hundreds of millions of dollars right now. So it's a matter of trying to find investments. For me, it's a matter of trying to find investments that will give a little now and give a hell of a lot to my future generations. Like hell a lot. So finding those, real estate is also something that's going to be a big deal. Businesses, people say, oh, you got to buy a business. Well, businesses come and businesses go. Remember that. Businesses come and businesses go. Back in the day, changing that wooden wheel on a horse and buggy was a big business until that went away. You could find out tons of businesses that are like that. So you buy into what's going to be here or what's going to be somewhere. By the time my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren are here, we might be flying back and forth between different, planets by that time. Or traveling between here and living quarters in space. You think I'm joking, and I'm not. We already have an International Space Station where people live. Small quarters, but they literally do live there. So something to think about. It's temporary, but it's usually, a year or so. So yeah, that's what's up. He's not more popular because he's nuts. That's why. His family doesn't even support him. No, I'm not going to say any names, but his family doesn't support him. So that's why. Look that one up and you'll see. You'll see. That it was a very big deal when the whole family said, "Nah, we're writing that guy off." Big deal. Very big deal. So yeah, when I look at what's happened, in the past week, I'm expecting all of you to do your own research when you work with DEXs. So that's why I said, listen, if you're doing research on DEXs so you can get whatever, exactly. Some of these DEXs and sexes, there are hundreds. There are hundreds. And they exist because people use them. So when you see one, you have to sit there and go, well, people are using it. Yeah. Should they be using it? So when I look over the coming week, like I said, I'm expecting the news over the coming week to be all about institutional investment. And I'm hoping that there might be sprinkled into institutional investment, sprinkled in there will be institutional integration of cryptocurrency or blockchain technology. That's kind of what I'm looking for. That's really, really, really what I'm looking for. So I'm hoping that's what happens, because that would make it a pretty big space. A pretty damn big space. And it's getting bigger by the day. There are companies out there, people out there talking about Solana this and Solana that. There was a conversation, off of one of the shorts that I had posted, a conversation. Somebody said, you might as well just, invest a little bit in Solana, live off the staking, and take advantage of the staking, blah, blah, blah. And somebody said, somebody came back with, I'm not going to put my money on Solana because there's going to come that point where Solana is just going to flip and fail because of their network problem. And I was like, Richie, what's up? And I was just like, ooh. And healthy conversation. Two people that have different ideas about what's going on. And I'm kind of in between on both of them because I sincerely think that Solana is perfectly fine as long as you're not looking for mission critical. It is a choice if you're not looking for mission critical. If I'm looking for mission critical, there are other blockchains that I would rather use. Right? Stellar, XRP, Cardano, of course. Right? There are other blockchains that I can use depending on what I'm looking for. Chainlink. They're just out there that I can use that can do something. Hedera Hashgraph is another one. Now, other people might bring up XDC and IOTA and Quant. But yeah, but they are choices. You don't hear about them going down. Just saying, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. So you have a network that can move really, really fast, really, really cheap. You can do a lot of things on it. But there could come a day where it just goes, woo, not working right now. What was that thing on Pac-Man? Doo, doo, doo. That's what could happen. But what after the fire dancer for what? Oh, for Solana? That ought to tell you something. Like, are you serious? I don't think that update actually tackles their ghost of a freaking problem. They have a network problem, and I don't think they've been able to identify where it comes from. It hits like at any time. It recently hit and it dropped them down to like $128. Right now they're at what? Solana's at 184. That's a good number. I'm not even going to play. That's a really good number. They're up a lot, right? 81 point, basically 82%, year to date. But does it tackle the actual problem? Don't know, because they won't say what the problem is, what the problem actually is. Just that, we took care of it. That's all you hear, and then they don't talk about it anymore. But they don't say what it actually is. This is why I say not mission critical. Not mission critical. Captain Banana, I agree about RJK. No, because he's a nut job. If your family doesn't back you, I'm not going to back you. Period. That's insane. Nobody knows you more than your family. Whether they like you, dislike you, whatever, but nobody in your family likes you? Nope. Not me. Good luck with that. Remember, Captain Bananas, they're not in the United States. So yeah, you gotta follow that one. Go look that one up, and then you'll see. I mean, think about it. Are you really gonna back somebody whose family doesn't back them? And we're not talking about a small mom and dad, sister, niece. You know what I mean? We're talking about the whole family is like, nah, none of us are behind that guy. Nah, He's had drug problems. He's had issues. I'm good off that. I'm good. Nope, not me. Good luck. Nuh-uh. No, it's not about crypto. Go do your research on that person, and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. Then you'll understand what I'm talking about. I'm talking about as a person. His family is not behind him. It's not just for his crypto stance. They're not saying, well, for this, we really don't. No. They're saying no, not at all. That's what I'm talking about. On my worst day, I can still call my mom. I mean, he can't call his mom, but I mean, like, I can call my brother. He might think I'm bonkers, but I can call my brother. Bro, I'm in trouble. Can you help? Yeah. Well, I will yell at you. I will beat your butt after we take care of this problem. Right? His family's like, we're good off that. Nah. It's very different. It's very different. Very different. Go do some research on that particular person. So when I look forward, like I said, I think we're probably going to hear about the things we should have heard about coming from the Bitcoin 2024 conference. I think we're going to hear a little bit about that. Hopefully some of those companies will get better airplay. They'll get their news out there. I think that's going to be a big deal. I think we'll probably hear about some partnerships that happened, some deals that were made, because that's how that works. You go meet and greet people in person. Somebody says something. Next thing you know, light bulbs go off and, hey, let's have that talk. That's how that happens. So I think following the conference is when we're going to see some really good stuff. But yeah, I think about all of that. Let me see. Right now, out of 9 votes, we have 78% saying Bitcoin and 22% saying eCash as the first crypto. And I can tell you, it's a good one. That's why I was hoping Bianca was on, because she was her and Hutanik were complaining my last question was like easy. And then the question before that, Bianca was like, your question was so hard. So, I just figured I'd give everybody a question that's harder than what most think. It's harder than what most think. What else am I expecting over this coming week? I'm expecting my company. I'm expecting Grow My Bag to have a few announcements as well, which is good stuff. It's definitely good stuff. I'm already on the hook. A lot of you guys put me on the hook to handle the merch situation. I'm handling that. I'll sit down later today and start, doing that. So, this is going to be one style shirt. I've got a couple of ideas for other style shirts. I'm going to put those up, and we'll see what the story is with that. What else is there? I mean, barring macro events, I'm expecting more of the same. A stair step up, right? Again, 69,355 is what I need us to maintain for more than just a few days. We have to be consolidated at that spot before I think we're going to make a huge push towards setting a new all-time high for Bitcoin. I think that's going to be a big deal. I think a big albatross around everybody's neck is going to be Grayscale and their downward pressure on, Ethereum. I think that's going to be a very big deal. they're holding a lot and they're going to sell. And I think that's going to create a lot of downward pressure. A lot. So those are my feelings for this coming week. That's what I think is going on. Do you guys have any questions? Any ideas? Anything? Because if not, we've been on for like 40 minutes. We'd be able to wrap this up. So I'm opening the door for Q&A for you guys right now. Also, I've seen a lot of people on. I need you to answer those questions because I'm about to close the poll in I'd give it one more minute. Rick Ritchie, do I normally come on so Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. is when I come on. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Monday through Friday is when I come on usually. Sundays is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I try to be prompt, but I had a couple of technical difficulties, but we're basically on. You still got a whole show. But yeah, those are my normal times. Because you're in Missouri, right? You're the one that's in Missouri? Yeah, you're the one that's in Missouri. So you're Central Time, aren't you? So yeah, for you it would be 7. It would definitely be 7. But they're recorded and they're there. Try to make it, as lively as possible. Try to make it as informative as possible. I try not to stay married to Bitcoin. Everybody seems to be talking about Bitcoin only. They're not talking about everything else that goes on. They don't if they do, it's only the headline. They don't really go deeper into it. I try to go deeper into it without going too deep, where I lose people. I try to stay, in there. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. But remember, I might be ahead of a few, but I'm also behind a few. But I do research all the time, and I'm just trying to share it so that people have a better idea about what's going on out there. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you have a good one. If you like what I'm doing, hit the like button, subscribe, and definitely, if you can, become a member. Also, go over to GrowMyBag.tv, become a member over there. We have a lot of things coming, and I believe you'll be hearing about that this week. Anyway, everybody, have a good one, and thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.